I don't let my son sit with the phone.
Oh, wow.
He has to stand. Think about it.
That's brilliant.
So yes, we look at the messages while he's standing in the kitchen, and then he gets that, so go somewhere. If we could take it and just sit on the couch,
That's brilliant.
go and look at it as much as you want. Stand there and message your friends. But you can't just lie in bed or sit on the couch with it. But I follow that too. I just don't take it everywhere in the house. I don't sit and open it because I'm sitting on the couch now. So it just limits the time he's doing it, because it's annoying to stand there in the kitchen with the phone charged and do
That's
everything you
beautiful
need to
idea.
do over there. So it's just small things like this. Take it
No,
with
that's
humor.
a beautiful idea.
Small things like that. Take it. Trust your kids. They know what's good, but just give them the correct example and the good guidance.
Welcome to the Antony Gordon Show, powered by Lighthouse Edutainment. Let me describe a common scenario. You open your phone for 1 minute just to check one thing. 20 minutes later, you're still scrolling. The question is, did you choose that, or was it chosen for you? That's the conversation nobody's having honestly, because we've sold a narrative. Social media addiction is your fault. Just use more discipline. But what if that's not true? What if the real issue isn't that people are weak, but rather it is that the system was never built to give you control in the first place? So today's episode flips that entire script. I'm sitting with Daniel Gradus, a serial entrepreneur focused at the intersection of technology, culture, and what I call the attention economy. And his approach is different. He's not here to tell you to delete your apps. He's not here to shame you about screen time. He's building towards something far more powerful. A world where you control what you see instead of being controlled by it. No manipulation, no endless dopamine loops, no accidental addiction, just intentional content aligned with who you want to become. So today we're going deep. Is addiction really a personal failure or a design flaw? What should social media look like if it was built for mental health, not engagement metrics? And can we realistically create platforms where you decide what shapes your mind? Because here's the truth. If you don't control your inputs will control you. This is a conversation about power, about awareness, and about taking back ownership of your attention in a world that profits from stealing it. So every episode we throw in our brain stretch to make sure our minds are sharp in a world that's trying to dull our minds. Here's the scenario. You open a social media app. There are two feeds. Feed A shows you content based on what you consciously chose. Feed B shows you content based on what keeps you watching the longest. After 30 days, which feed knows you better? Drop your answer in the comments section below, and we'll reveal the answer at the end of the episode. Our MDS acronym, which is a way for us to help you understand that what you're hearing and seeing may not necessarily be the truth or in your best interest. Let's start with M for myth. If I just had more discipline, the myth goes, I wouldn't get pulled into endless scrolling. The problem is me. Let's unpack and dispel. So that sounds responsible, but it's incomplete. Modern platforms are not neutral tools. They're engineered environments designed to maximize time on screen, not your well-being. The feed isn't showing you what's best for you. It's showing you what you're most likely to react to, emotionally, impulsively, repeatedly. So when someone says, just have more self-control, they're ignoring a deeper truth. You're not just using the algorithm. The algorithm is training you, your attention, your impulses, even your emotional triggers. They're being shaped in real time. This isn't a fair fight of you versus willpower. It's you versus a system optimized to override it. Let's look at the truth, superseding what our myth is. The goal isn't to become a monk and delete everything. The goal is control. Control over what enters your mind. Control over what gets repeated. Control over what influences your mood, identity, and direction. Because here's the shift. Discipline matters, but design matters more. When the environment changes, behavior follows. And the future belongs to platforms and people who flip the model. Not how long can we keep you here, but how aligned is this with who you actually want to become? Today's guest is building towards something most people don't even realize they've lost: control over their own attention. Daniel Gradus is part of a new wave of builders, challenging the default model, not by telling people to disconnect, but by reimagining the system itself. This is a conversation about the future of media, the psychology of attention, and whether we can realistically build platforms that don't depend on addiction to survive. If you've ever felt like your feed understands your impulses better than you do, this one's going to hit. Let's get into it. Daniel Gradus, who is a friend, a serial entrepreneur, both in the profit and the non-profit world. I just felt that I was speaking to, someone who completely gets it. And so it's a great pleasure to welcome you, Daniel, to the Antony Gordon Show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Talk to me, if you will, just so we can put you in context with the conversation. Just a little bit about your journey, a little bit about the work that you've done, both in the profit and the non-profit, so that our viewers and our listeners get a sense of context.
I've been, like you said, entrepreneur all my life, building businesses, regular businesses, not necessarily only high tech. I was a consultant and investor. After the war started in Israel, I did everything I can to help and found a non-profit that helped a lot of children after the war. And in my process of doing that, I got to see how much I can create a big effect with my charisma, with my ability to move people, and decided to take a bigger task and try to take on this battle that me and you are doing together.
Okay, so the conversation that we had originally was the idea that there's a lot of destructive content that is being disseminated through multiple platforms. It's impacting the next generation. It's causing, and it has caused the next generation to be arguably the most anxious, depressed, and lonely generation of all time. Talk to me a little bit about why you think that's happening in the world today, and some of the solutions that you and your team are working through to be part of the solution rather than part of the problem.
So the first part of the question is happening today because we let it happen. It's not from the sky, like we say. It's not cancer that we're trying to battle. We let it come in the front door. It wasn't the deal they offered us. They promised us something else. Slowly, it's like when you boil the frog in the water. Slowly, degree by degree, he doesn't understand and he gets burnt. I'll give you two examples. Look at smoking. In the past, if you would be smoking, I would be have to running away and hiding. Today, if you're smoking, you're stuck in a small box in the airport and you have to. We decided that enough is enough. You can't smoke anywhere, right? Same with the biggest example I like is asbestos. In the first year, the end of the 1900s, they put asbestos all over America. And in 2005, they removed every square feet of asbestos all over America because they understood it's poisoning us. So if we could take millions of square feet of asbestos, physically asbestos, out of this world and throw it away and build something new, we can do it to social media. It's our decision that we're losing because we don't believe we can, but we can.
Do you think that when the tech giants launched this new phenomenon, that they knew ultimately it was going to be this very sinister form of manipulating people? Or do you think it just evolved over time?
I think like every founder and startup, they got to a junction with a tough decision somewhere in 2012.
Yeah, I agree.
They could decide that they're asking for me and you $1 each, and we would pay because it was fun, and leave the commercials out. The moment they didn't want to charge us $1, they were afraid, and they said, okay, it's for free, and you just will bring in some commercials. It was the biggest slippery slope in the world, and today it's the sake. Facebook connecting people is a joke. Facebook is everything but connecting people. It's disconnecting people from themselves 100%. And from their families. And if people think we're together, but we're just reading the same shitty magazine together. That's what we're doing. Each one in his own home. We're not really together. So I think they didn't know, but I think they had a tough junction and they made the wrong decision and no way back.
So I promised you before we went live, and obviously I want to keep my promise, not to reveal what you and your team are building in stealth mode, obviously. But I'm very, very impressed. And obviously that's one of the reasons why I think we connected. Without giving away the secret sauce, without revealing anything, I think it's important for our listeners and viewers that you just give an overview conceptually a little bit about the company that'll hopefully be in the public domain soon, and how you got there?
I got there because my son became 13. So
That's
that says it all, and everybody in the class started to have a phone, and it's terrifying. It's just terrifying. I was scared, and I believed I can convince people to take a leap and go somewhere else, and that's the main reason why I started this. What we're doing different, it's not the secret sauce that is important, because that's technicality how we're going to do it. Let's speak about what we're going to do, and in the bigger picture, I think we're going to do three things. One is give people back the right to choose what they're going to see. Would you ever go to a movie, sit there and don't know what movie they're going to show? And there's a thin line there. When you go into Netflix, yes, there's a lot, but you have to choose what you want to see, right? They're not just throwing it at you. This being so naive and letting them do it for us is something we won't do. We will give you content and give you to choose without the fear of missing out.
the FOMO thing is a real thing. So if there's two platforms, you got Jennifer and Lisa. Lisa's on Facebook. Then you got your platform. Won't Jennifer at some time say, I love this because I'm not getting exposed to content and images that are going to make me down and depressed and compare. But at 1 second, what's my buddy seeing that maybe I'm missing out?
Yeah. So again, there's a very thin line between engagement and manipulation. Engagement is good. If they created a good series and you're excited to see the next episode, that's engagement. They created something that you chose, you want to see more. The thin line is when the honesty is not there between engagement and manipulation. And it's okay if people want to engage with our product a lot. It's because it's interesting. It's because they want to do it, and not because we're manipulating them to do it.
The problem is, Daniel, that if Mark Zuckerberg was on this podcast right now, he would say, no. I've created a platform. I'm not forcing people to watch the content. If they want, they can flip else. How can you tell me that I'm manipulating people when people have freedom of choice?
Be with me a moment. It's not about the choice. It's about the alignment of interest. Let's go back to the alignment of interest. Let's take examples that we all know. You go into Amazon, you buy a tent. They offer you a sleeping bag, right? Because if you need a tent, you probably need a sleeping bag, right?
Right.
We all know what the interest is here. One, to offer you something you might need, but they want to make money. You know that, right?
So they're cross-selling you because they're, 100%.
But it's not the same interest. They want to make money. You need a product. It's not the same, but it's at least it's honest. It's on the table. When you go to a supermarket and you go out at the cashier, there's all these shippings for $1, right? We all know they want $1 more for you, and they're giving you things that you won't go all the way back to get chewing gum now.
So
right?
it's an impulse buy.
But what Facebook is doing is very simple. Think of you going into a jewelry store, Anthony, and buying a piece of jewelry for your wife and for your set, okay? And you're coming to go outside. If he says maybe you want a bracelet too, then that's the old fashioned thing. He wants to sell something to you. But if he says to you, wait a minute, Anthony, look, there's a video of a guy running after a dog. And you say, okay, that's nice, I need to go. And then he says, wait a minute, there's a video of a dog running after a guy. And then you say, okay, thank you, I need to go. And then he says, look, this old beach, beautiful people on the beach. Say, thank you, I need to go. And they say, do you want me to get closer so you can see the women on the beach? And you say to him, hey, sir, I came to buy jewelry. Why are you showing me all these videos? And if it would Mark Zuckerberg, he would give you an honest answer. Because every minute you're here, I'm making money.
How's that helping the bottom line of Facebook? If you're not buying anything, I'm looking at this beach, that beach. They're not sending me umbrellas?
No, because in the past, first of all, they are. You can buy things. You click through Facebook, you go to buy something, they make money. We all know that. So a lot of people gave up websites today. And Facebook is a mall. You go to Facebook to look for your dog, to rent a house, to look for somebody you know, to read an article, to read the news. Even the news anchor finishes the news and doesn't say come visit us on our website. He says come visit us on Facebook and Twitter. Everybody gave up. Everybody's there. So if everybody's there, it's like the mall. They just want you to walk around. It's not one of the stores in the mall.
Yeah.
He's the mall. He's the mall. Now, if you walk more in the mall, you buy more things from the stores, but then he can charge them more rent. So all they want is you to be there more, and every minute you're there. Now, in the past, again, it was honest. You would see your feed with your friends, and there was an ad on the left. The ad came a bit inside into your feed, and now your feed is one big ad.
Okay, now let's compare it to the platform that you are launching, which is not about trying to induce people to stay on longer. If I understand it correctly, it's it's more about the quality of the content that you're disseminating, and you're not looking to make money from stickiness.
Yeah, of course. On the contrary, I many years ago I read a nice article about the founder of Sony PlayStation. In the past, it was Sega. It was a Nintendo and Sega. And he said, "How much do you want the kids to play with it?" He said, "I want them to play with it a lot, as long as the mother doesn't throw it out of the window."
As long as
So
the
he
mo-
doesn't
yeah,
he doesn't want it too much, because then that's it. The mother throws it out of the window because they're paying
yeah.
too much, right? So there's a certain amount of that. It's okay to want people to read my book, to come to my show, to come to my product. But again, it's alignment of interest. Am I creating it as a black hole for them to be able to not go back out? And the way we build it, and I don't want to go too much into the business model, is that I don't care if you come once a month or 10 times a month. For me, it's the same. And it starts there. It doesn't matter what I'm showing. It doesn't change my line of income if you come once a month or 10 times a month.
How were you able to make your platform impervious to the problems that we're trying to solve?
It's a slower paced, but it's a safer environment. And it's a place where we're taking a risk because it's boring. It's not so flashy. It's not so fast. But even podcast, me and you are speaking now. We're going to speak for half an hour or more. And if someone will come to me 15 years ago and say, we're going to have podcasts and people are going to listen for 20 minutes, half an hour, they say it would be great. The people are missing the pace of going backwards, of not feeling that they're snapped in the face, everything.
Once you've got millions of people used to the flashes and the dopamine here, how do we attract them to a platform that you're launching that may not be, so energetic, so kinetic, and ask them to sort of slow down a little bit and engage when their brains are so used to, all the crazy noise and distractions?
If we have a great party on the other side with the right people, people will come. People come for many reasons. People come to places. If we have the right environment, which is a supporting and good environment, and it's interesting, people will come. Also, by the way, we do not have to be instant. It's just perspective. Where Airbnb disrupted the entire world, right? Did they close all the hotels in the world?
No.
They live next to them for an option for families to travel with kids and go into homes instead of being stuck at the hotel room. For a majority of the world doesn't use Airbnb, but still Airbnb is huge. It's there. It's good to have an option.
How is it that a form of technology and a form of communication that was meant to connect people together has caused the highest spike in loneliness? The exact opposite.
Let's go to 2012 again. There's something very important that came into our world, and we forget that it happened. It wasn't there before. It's called the button. The button is called share.
Oh boy! Don't start to me. Yeah.
I have a company. My name is Zuckerberg, and I have a product. It's called Facebook, and we're working. And we say what's working, what's working more. It's all legit. But then we invent a button called share. And Antony can't just say something and be, most of the people, it's a long tail. Don't post so much on Facebook. They go, they look, they come out. They go, they look. The majority of the people don't create so much. But when they gave the notion not to create, but to share what other people created, then the amount of, look. So then we go to our algorithm. We wake up in the morning and say, Mr. Algorithm, can you check what people share more, please? So Antony, if you're a Muslim and I'm Jewish, you see anything you want to see, and I see anything I want to see. We will not meet on this platform forever. We will not see the same content forever. So from that moment, that's where it started disconnecting people. The best moment it had was the Arab Spring, where it helped all the people to come together and do something. But from there, from that moment, the share button became something. It's just an example that is going the opposite of connecting people.
So speak to me for a second, Daniel, about the non-profit side. I'm interested in and I want to share with our viewers the model that you've developed on the philanthropy side.
Part of our model is going to be a philanthropy side. Part of our model is that we think capitalism is okay, but there's also, you can be a capitalist pick. We need enough money to build a product. We need to make money. We want to make money. We want to make a lot of money, but we're cutting out the piece that to us and all the people on our platform are going to decide together how much good we're going to do together. Because if I'm using your time on my platform, then it's your asset. And with your asset, I want to know what we can do. I'm not just exploiting your asset and taking it for my good. So we are going to heavily have some kind of philanthropic venture and build it into our program. It's not about only getting. It's not about me, me, me. It's both. It's both the celebrities that will be on our website. It's both the females that are spending their time. Every kid that comes on our website will get something and get something. And they will feel good for getting and beautiful for giving. If you go back to that analogy, then and based on that, we learn. You decide to provide your product, and then you stay connected to that, then people will understand it and appreciate it.
How old is your son now, Daniel?
My son is becoming 14.
What would you warn your son about the digital world, or just so that that he's not ambushed by a lot of the creepy people that are just twisted, and they're really looking for naive little souls like your beautiful son.
The same advice I gave my son when he takes his bike and goes out is the same advice I'm going to give. One, be careful. Be alert. There's crazy people out there. Okay? Read the signs. Don't ignore them. Okay? And be present and know where you're going. You don't just go to the garage, Antony, take the bike, and then decide what you want to do. I'll go for a ride, I'll do workout, I'll go visit a friend, I'll go to watch a movie. You don't first take the bike, then decide what you want to do. You decide what you want to do and you go get the bike. If you go into the internet because you want to buy something, go ahead. If you go into the internet because you want to read or search something or read the sports section, go ahead. If you finish doing that, come back. So remember why you went in. And if you're not doing what you went in for anymore, stop doing it. That's all. You can't tell them not to do it. But remember why you came in. Do what you need to do. It's okay. We can fall asleep in front of a very light comedy because we will not clean our head from our mortgage and problems. That's okay. We decided to watch a movie for an hour and a half and clean our mind. If you're going into the internet to clean your mind and just read some sports, it's fine. Come out if you're done after a few minutes. Don't just go into the black hole and just open it because it's there. You just don't go to the garage and take your bike out if you don't want to use it for something specific, right? And it's sort of that simple.
It's dangerous when people are bored and they just jump into the black hole, and 3 hours later they feel terrible about themselves and they've learned nothing, but they're exposing their life to strangers.
Yeah, and I also think we should take it like, I'll give you soul and a secret, keep it between us, but it's a funny one. I don't let my son sit with the phone.
Oh, wow.
He has to stand. Think about it
That's
a moment.
brilliant.
And
That's brilliant.
So yes, we look at the messages while he's standing in the kitchen, and then he gets that, so he goes somewhere. If we could take it and just sit on the couch,
Oh, that's brilliant.
go look at it as much as you want. Stand there and message your friends, but you can't just lie in bed or sit on the couch with it. And his little sister rats on him when I come back. He was sitting on the couch with his phone. So it's a thing. But I follow that too. I just don't take it everywhere in the house. I don't sit and open it because I'm sitting on the couch now. So it just limits the time he's doing it because it's annoying to stand there in the kitchen with the phone charged and do
That's
everything you
beautiful
need to
idea.
do over there. So it's just small things like this. Take it
No,
with
that's a
humor.
beautiful idea. So it's a little bit uncomfortable. So he can't stand for hours and hours just surfing the net. That's brilliant.
Yes. So small things like that. Take it. Trust your kids. They know what's good, but just give them the correct example and the good guidance.
Kids don't learn from what we say. They learn from what we do.
100%. I don't want to sound like it's easy, but I don't. I just put the phone on the shelf when I come home.
2 great tools, by the way, Daniel. We try and make this practical. So I think tool number 1, the condition of you searching or looking for anything online, you have to be standing. So a little bit uncomfortable, so you don't find yourself for hours just. And I like the fact that keep social media on your computer so it's not in your pocket 24/7. And you have to consciously go out and be proactive. I think that's tremendous guidelines and guardrails for discipline, and it would make a lot less exposure. Those are great ideas. Talk to me as we wind up here. Where would you like your company to be 5 years from now?
In a crowded space with more companies like us that are trying to go back to the roots and do good, I think that we will be able to put social media as a way it is today, like I said, in the right perspective. Do what happened to smoking, do what happened to sugar, which is still here, but people understand it's not legit for me to open a bottle of Coca-Cola when I get guests every now. I want to ask them. It's like look in the past. It's still here, But it's in the right perspective. It was used to be the big thing. You won't have a proper athlete today promoting McDonald's or Pepsi. They won't allow themselves, Tom Brady or something like that. Why? Because they won't. In the past, they would. I think celebrities will look back and see what they did on social media, and they have kids, and they will also understand. We want to put it in the right perspective. It's a place where you can go like this, and after 10 minutes, don't remember what you did or what you saw. It's fine if you do that for 10 minutes a day in the right place in the right time. So if we build more alternatives, the idea is to shrink it to the size it's supposed to be.
And do you think, I agree with you 100%, do you think that the recent case in the Supreme Court in LA, which found basically Meta, that there's systemic addiction built in, and there's literally thousands of lawsuits now waiting in the pipeline, do you think the pendulum is swinging back where people realize this is toxic, this is addictive, this is Philip Morris tobacco X years ago?
First of all, yes, it's swinging, and when regulation comes in, like in Australia and other places, regulation is always last, right? You need 10 people to die to decide that you need to put a helmet. It happens last. So if regulations here, that means that's it. The party started. I do think it's the end of an era, but I don't think it has to do with a lawsuit here and there. Again, Anthony, I'm sorry, it has to do with you and me. If we decide it's done,
no,
it's done.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
No judge can find them enough to tell them to. Then they can change things and move things and do things, and so we just have to understand it's not cool anymore, and it's happening soon.
You know, it's very funny. You say people like you and me. I have always been the person who's taking, the road less traveled. So one of my teachers said, first people will say to you, Anthony, you're absolutely crazy. This is insane. The whole world's against you. And then when you start getting traction, people will say, I knew he could do it. And then when you have success, people say, it was really my idea.
People don't believe because they don't look forward. They look into the trenches today. The solution has to come from somebody from the outside, and it has to come from entrepreneurs coming from the outside building it. It will not come from them. So don't wait for them. Don't wait for the judges to fight them. Let's build an alternative.
I'm 100% with you. I think that hopefully the success that you are going to have, whatever I've seen in stealth mode, together with whatever we can do to help you, will go a long way to moving the dial, to make, I think, social media what it was intended to be, to make the world a happier place, which is exactly the antithesis of what we have now. And you're doing great work, Daniel. I appreciate you taking the time to be on the Antony Gordon Show. Continue success and look forward to be on the journey with you.
Thank you so much.
Before we end today's episode, let's revisit our brain stretch. So we've got two feeds. Feed A shows you content based on what you consciously chose. Feed B shows you content based on what keeps you watching the longest. After 30 days, which feed knows you better? So most people probably say feed A, but the real answer is feed B, because what you choose says something about your values. But what you can't stop watching reveals your vulnerabilities. That's why today's conversation matters, because the future of tech shouldn't be about platforms knowing how to hook us. It should be about giving us more control over what shapes us. So we started the episode with a simple question. Are you choosing what you see, or is it choosing you? And what today made clear is the problem isn't that people are weak. The problem is that most platforms were never built for your well-being in the first place. But that doesn't mean you're stuck. What Daniel Gradus is working towards flips the entire model. Not more engagement, but more intentionality. Not more time spent, but more control gained. And that's the shift that matters. Because at the end of the day, your attention is your life. What you watch shapes what you think. What you think shapes what you feel. And what you feel drives the decisions that define your future. This isn't about quitting technology. It's about reclaiming your relationship with it. This is the Antony Gordon Show, where we challenge the narratives shaping our lives and replace them with truth that actually works. If this episode hits, send it to someone who needs to take back control of their attention. And remember, don't let the algorithm define you. Define it. I'm Antony Gordon. Until next week, stay real, stay rare, and stay awake.